A reading from the first letter of Paul to the Corinthians. Brothers and sisters, do you not know that a little yeast leavens all the dough? Clear out the old yeast, so that you may become a fresh batch of dough, inasmuch as you are unleavened. For our Paschal Lamb, Christ, has been sacrificed. Therefore, let us celebrate the feast, not with the old yeast, the yeast of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. The word of the Lord.
Our second reading on this Easter Sunday is taken from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. We have been reflecting on this very powerful image of the resurrection, the passage from darkness to light, the passage from the never-ending night, as it were, of death into the dawn of new life. In the first reading, we saw the darkness that Jesus experienced. A good man, a messenger of God, in fact, God's Son, filled with the Spirit, doing good works, but nevertheless killed by people. What darkness! But the light came from God's action. He raised Jesus from the dead after 3 days. He allowed Jesus, the risen one, to appear to his disciples who had failed him. And he offered forgiveness of sins. Rather than anger, revenge, the light came in the offer of forgiveness. Wow! This light will conquer the darkness. In the second reading, again, the darkness of the death of Christ. And St. Paul uses a beautiful image. He uses bread, dough. And we know that dough rises because of yeast. And what led to the death of Jesus? And what led to the death of the covenant relationship between God and God's people? What continues to bring us darkness? St. Paul uses the image of the yeast of sinfulness, wickedness, and corruption. This is the yeast that makes the dough of darkness increase. Wow! What type of yeast do we allow to increase our darkness? St. Paul points to that yeast: corruption, sinfulness, wickedness. Now, where is the light? Yes, Jesus was put to death because of that old yeast. But the death of Jesus was not just a simple death of a simple criminal. It was, in the terms of St. Paul, a sacrifice. He is our Passover. He is the Lamb whose blood saves us. And so, if Jesus is the new Passover Lamb that takes away our sins, that saves us, and not just the traditional Passover lamb used by the Jews, wow! Instead of leavened bread with yeast that makes us puffed up, that increases corruption, that increases wickedness, St. Paul is proposing a new light. Use unleavened bread. Not the bread that is, wow, big, but big in pride, big in corruption, big in wickedness. But unleavened bread, simple bread, but the bread of sincerity and truth. That is the bread that gives light. That is the bread that should be eaten when the Passover lamb is Jesus Christ. We have this in our Eucharistic celebration, unleavened bread. And this is a simple bread, but it is the light that will conquer all this leavened dough, leavened by corruption and wickedness. So, my dear brothers and sisters, let us move from the darkness of that sin that makes us, in a way, expanded types of bread, expanded by pride. Let us turn to the light of simple sincerity and truth, the light befitting our Passover lamb, Jesus Christ, the true bread of life, the bringer of light.